welcome to Korean Tapas, episode one. This is a show about living in Korea,
Yeah.
Spain, Korea, yay!
Yeah.
Two different cultures, 10,000 kilometers apart. We plan to share our experiences, views from the big cities of Seoul and Barcelona. My name is Ricard Torres, and with me, my co-host Minki Kim. Minki, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I'm Minki Kim from countryside, so which is called Hansan, that nobody, no Korean even doesn't know. So don't worry. So I was a countryside boy, but now I'm living in Seoul for 10 years. So I'm glad to be co-host for this podcast. I'll try my best. So today we have some guest, one of my friends, Jisang Kim, and he's the city boy. So let me introduce.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jisang Kim. I'm Minky's friend. And technically, I'm living out of Seoul as well, but I was born in Seoul and I was in Seoul for 12 years. And even after that, I'm living in suburbs of Seoul. So probably I can explain the basic things about Seoul.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you. Right. So Korean tapas. Why Korean tapas, Minky? I'm sure when you lived in Pamplona, you've tried tapas before, right?
And Pamplona, there are pinchos, not tapas, right?
Yeah. Right. What, how can I describe a tapa? It's complicated. I think would be like small plate, right?
Yes.
With like some food to share, like something to accompany a drink. It doesn't have to be alcohol, just any drink. And just just prior to going to dinner or going to lunch, you can just eat small things just to open the appetite. And I think in Pamplona in the north, it's more like pinchos, more like skewers, like when they put food in these things, and they're very delicious. And I don't think there's any rule to it. I think that you can practically put anything in a tapa, from tortilla, from I don't know, it's olives, anything, right?
Exactly. So I really like the idea that tapas means some, what can I say, it's a finger food that we can eat easily and we can touch easily. So, and there are so many tapas that we can get into know. So the name of tapas means that we can make any talking in many things like Korean culture, Spain culture, not only culture, history, economy, blah blah blah, whatever you want. So in Korea, actually, we have not same, but the similar culture like banchan. So it's really interesting that we can talk about tapas and banchan.
Yes, I love panchang. It's fantastic. The only problem with panchang in Spain is that it's not unlimited, like you guys. When you go to a restaurant and that's unlimited, here it's not. And every time I want to repeat panchang, it's like, yeah, it's going to be like €5 more or whatever. So, Jisang, have you ever eaten Spanish food? I guess you have.
Yeah, I have Spanish food several times. Even in Korea, like I go to Spanish restaurant uh, probably once or twice. Not once or twice, but like once in 2 months, I guess, which
That's
is
cool.
quite often compared to other Korean people, I guess.
How many are there in more or less Seoul? Is it easy to find or just one? I don't know.
I can say that nowadays it's very easy to find Spanish restaurants in Seoul, but I've seen very few Spanish people who say that they can accept that this is a authentic Spanish restaurant.
It's always the same, man.
Yeah, I don't know if they are being like, I don't know. I don't know if they are being honest or they want to be seen as arrogant. I don't know, but I think many Spanish friends or visitors to Seoul don't say easily that this or that restaurant is not very real or good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same here, right? I mean, here we have plenty of Korean restaurants, and Minky knows. Minky have
Mhm.
you've eaten here, and they're very good, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's close to the real thing. It's
Well,
the same thing,
what was the name?
right?
What was the name nearby Sagrada Familia?
Oh, actually, Seoul,
Mm. Yeah,
Seoul
right,
restaurant.
yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
there are plenty, and I mean, you've tested them, so you're native, you know it, and it's super close to the real thing. And apart from the price, but I think everything else is. So I don't know. I haven't eaten Spanish food in Korea, but I'm sure that you can have like a real experience. I don't know why your friends were saying, "Oh no, that's not the Spanish food," whatever. I mean,
You know the reason. It's expensive.
well, it's the same for me for Korean food. It's the complete opposite. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So that's why I wanted to talk about you today about this. So sure, I mean, I don't want to like. It's hard to not be general here, but uh, usually I think in Spain people don't eat out so much. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
surely, I mean, there are like business salarymen who eat out every day because it's more convenient for them, or sure, there are young couples that go out for dinner every night, but it's not super usual. I mean, people
Mm-hmm.
usually cook at home. They have decent kitchens and stuff. So eating outside, it's not super cheap. But when I go to Korea, I don't know why eating outside is so cheap. Yet you have a lot of money because I mean you make a lot of money in these big companies and people have great cars, great houses. But how is it possible to be so cheap?
Well, let me introduce like the difference between banchan and tapas first, because because tapas we can eat one, two, three, four, five tapas, and this is the meal for dinner or lunch. Done, right? But for banchan, actually banchan is only side dish. This is not main dish. So banchan means the side dish along with cooked rice. So we never eat only banchan. We should eat banchan with pap, which is cooked rice, and jjigae, which is soup. So banchan is only side for us. So mains are different. So the one of the reasons that we eat normally outside, extremely for young people, is that we're so lazy that we need to make at least 3 or 4 banchans for one meal, or we have to cook a lot of banchan first, and then we need to, what can I say? We need to share it for the one meal for each meals.
So you always eat pancang at any meal. There's no
Yes.
meal without pancang. Okay, yeah, and because it's so complex to do at home, you go outside because it's way easier if they do it for you. That makes
Hmm.
sense. But I'm sure that I mean you can do easy food at home, right? Jisang, I mean you can do easy Korean food at home. You don't have to, or you have to eat always this complex food.
I just wanted to say that I totally agree with his opinion because compared to the other cuisines in other countries, I think most of the Korean like basic daily meals are not uh, are not like a single dish meal. There's nothing like a main dish. There is a main dish, but we always the the side dishes, so-called banchans, always come together. So people usually have to buy some other ingredients all the time. I mean, apart from the main dishes ingredients, which makes it like more expensive compared to like other ways of cooking, I guess.
You know the number of banchan when you count it, the kimchi never counts it. Kimchi is the basic one, so we don't count kimchi for banchan number. So, for example, if you have 3 or 4 kimchis and 3 or 4 other banchans, then we call it 3 banchan meal. 삼첩 반상. Kimchi never counts for the number because it's so basic. So, it means that we need to. I mean, most of mothers should prepare at least 4 or 5 or 6 or more banchans, for one meal traditionally.
Not anymore.
Nowadays, it's getting smaller. We're getting lazy.
It's too much work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, here as well, right? I mean, you work every day and you have your hobbies or whatever, and you get home and you're not feeling like cooking or preparing a large meal. That's fine. Some people do, some people don't. If you have parents at home that cook for you, that's another thing. So I guess in that sense, I think we are more like the same. We don't like to get too much work at the
Hmm.
kitchen, but it's like I mean, with an average or below average salary, it's not like you can go outside every day. So you have to actually cook at home to save money. Otherwise, I mean, sure, maybe it would be great to go outside every day, but
I mean, I have one more theory actually for that one. I wanna listen to Jisang next because it's only my opinion. So after economically development, Korean is hard worker. We always work hard. Traditionally, we eat dinner together with family. But after the development, we need to eat and go back to work and go on working, or we need to have dinner with workers, co-workers, colleagues. So from that time, we had to eat outside more often with soju, with drinking and blah blah blah. So family, though, the culture of eating with family is getting smaller, and nowadays it's more easy to eat outside. It's just my opinion. So what about you, Jisang?
Yeah, I think speaking of this topic, there isn't any reason that I cannot agree, because there are like literally a number of reasons that can explain why Koreans eat out so often, and I also agree with this opinion. But there are some other reasons that I think that's more significant, and obviously, his idea that it's like a trend because people tend to eat dinner with their colleagues after work. That makes sense. But I think the other reason, which is the price of ingredients in the market, also explains why Koreans eat out so often. Because in my case, I've been to like more or less 30 countries in the world, and I cannot say that this is a like a thing only in developed countries or only in developing countries, but in general, I've seen that price gap between eating out and cooking at home were quite big. But in Korea, there's not much difference, I guess. I think all the visitors from outside of Korea may agree with that point. How do you think, Ricard? Do you also know this point?
Totally, yeah. Eating,
Yeah.
eating outside in Korea is cheap. It's
Mm,
definitely cheap. But you guys have higher salaries, so I'm probably thinking that people who work on restaurants don't make much. Like I'm probably thinking if it's so cheap to eat there, they don't make much money, right? But then if you're a salaryman working in a big company, then you make a lot of money, and so it's the imbalance. Also, one thing I noticed, like when you go outside in Korea, it's more like homemade food. It's like you can find a lot of places where it's like you would do it at home, but here when you go eat in a restaurant, maybe it's they put things that you wouldn't put at home. Maybe they put too much grease or too much salt or too much fat
mm,
or
mm.
things that you because it tastes better, of course, and it's more appealing to you go outside and you want to eat something tasty. But maybe if you do it at home, you would do it more healthy, right? You just do a salad, right? Let's say you do a salad with lettuce, tomato, whatever, but if you do it at the restaurant, they put that I don't know maybe jam and they put all these things that make it okay. I cannot eat that every day. Otherwise, I would be just a pig and fat, right? So, but in Korea, it feels like for me, you guys tell me, it feels like it's more healthy. Like it's the same as you would do it at home.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I think that one of the theme for eating outside is for home meal restaurant. For example, the nickname is home meal. So like, your mother cooks for you is kind of one of the theme that I really used to go. So maybe one of the reasons is that after the urbanization, everyone who wants to work hard and who wants to get the chance comes to Seoul or the big city, Seoul or nearby Seoul or Busan or some kind of big city. So when they go, it means that they need to apart from their family. So it's one of the I think it's one of the reason that the home meal cook is for like what can I say? It's kind of nostalgia for me.
Yeah, it makes sense totally. If you miss your home food, you go to a restaurant where they cook something similar.
Not salty, not greasy, but
Exactly.
from the
Yes. Yeah.
home, yeah, the cheaper price.
You tell me. But here you have like special menus during meet on for lunch, right? It's usually cheaper to get a meal during lunch at dinner. Dinner is more like you have
Mm,
Minki, like the whole thing, the whole menu, a bunch of items. But during lunchtime, it's just a reduced menu and it's so usually cheaper. And
mm.
usually, I mean, you can find restaurants where it's more like unquote unquote healthy and more like homemade. But again, we go back to cooks being cooks and doing things you wouldn't do at home. So it's, I mean, I don't think you could go outside every day for both meals and be healthy here in Spain unless you spend a lot of money.
And I think it's also like an example of a trend that people care more about their health even when they're eating out. So probably that's because why the restaurants here in Korea are being more, I mean, trying to cook the foods as like healthier than before, I guess. Probably that's the reason why you feel like that.
what I wanted to talk about was like delivery culture in here is really, what can I say, really getting bigger. Actually, I had an interview with delivery company, which is getting bigger and bigger. So nowadays it's not only trend but this kind of culture that we can eat home. Spanish food in home is kind of big difference. Before we what we deliver is only fried chicken or pizza or Chinese food, something like that, for easily delivered. But nowadays, we can eat in home, every home, everything, whatever, like I don't know, hamburger, salad, Korean food, Korean banchans, so many banchans. It's difficult, but they deliver, and we can eat anything. Is getting bigger after COVID-19. So here it's getting more popular to eat not only delivery restaurant, but also the originally famous restaurant that never had delivered system is now we can eat food from that kind of restaurant. So in Korea, we are getting big industry. And how is it in Spain?
It's same actually. So I remember last time I was at your place, like many years ago. Not many years ago, what 2018. You ordered like you were so casual about it. You just picked up your phone. You said, "What do you want to eat?" And you just ordered, and then we had the food at home. So back then, before COVID, you sure we have delivery? We had delivery here, and you could order like you pizza and stuff. But COVID exploded the whole market, right, for food delivery, and here as well, people do it. I don't do it much because maybe I live in an area where I have things around me, and I can just walk 3 or 4 streets, and I can go to. But I know many people at work, and I have friends who do it very regularly. I don't know. I don't super like it when you order a burger and it gets to you 15 minutes later, all soggy and wet. I don't know. Do you guys usually order at home, or do you go out?
I order quite often and I eat out often as well. I think like the spread of delivery is like a global phenomenon after the pandemic, but I can I usually don't like to like say like this is a good thing about my country, this is a good thing about my country. I don't like that part, but this I cannot but like emphasize the fact that even before the pandemic, Korea is a strong like spread of deliveries. I mean, as you know, but after the pandemic, like as Minky already explained, nowadays we can like literally order almost everything, and that also like uh how to say that also made eating out not like it's not eating out, but that also like contributed to the tendency of not cooking.
Hmm.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I live alone, so when I'm getting lazy, I mean, almost every day. So look at the phone almost every day. And what do I eat? Oh, this one. It's more addicted because it's so easy to get access, and the restaurants are getting more and more uploaded in here. The one of the reason is that more good restaurants now are uploaded in here. Like before in our mind, the delivery food is bad, more greasy, more salty. But nowadays, the good restaurant, we can see it, and like we can see the review, and we can see the rating. So, oh, 4.8, then it's good restaurant. Then we need to take it.
And what about pricing? Because something that also stops me from doing that is that usually, if something I don't know, it's I don't know 1,001 here in Barcelona, you have to of course pay the transport, right? The delivery, the shipment. How is it there? Is it included? Is it more? Is there a big difference between if you go to a restaurant or if you deliver?
€2, normally €2 for one deliver.
Okay, so it's more or less the same. Okay.
And people usually don't care about that fee because usually when we order some food, it comes from my own experience, but majority of the delivery restaurants on the application that Miki is mentioning are actually giving out some free service when they order. Like it's not a big dish or like a menu, but they always put like one or two some like free service. So when we consider that point, there's not any like difference in terms of the price, I guess.
No, right. If you give you free food, then yeah, that's awesome.
Is just imagine that you can deliver Korean food from your home. I mean, actually, I sometimes I order Spanish food into my home. So
No, I mean I can. I mean I know that nearby Korean restaurants do that. But again, if the restaurant is just 10 minutes away walking, why
even
should
even 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 that.
it's too much for you? I don't know. I prefer to go there. I
Okay.
mean, it's same price and you get served instead
Yeah,
of
yeah, exactly.
having to do it yourself. And you get. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It depends on each person, right? Some people like to just stay indoors and catch a movie, and then
Yes,
I
exactly.
would just prefer to go to the restaurant if.
When you eat alone, do you also prefer to go out?
Mm, no, you're correct. Usually, so, I mean, sometimes I do. Maybe that's the point. Yeah, maybe that's the point. Going out, it's more fun with more people, definitely. But I've done it. Sometimes I don't find anybody to go to a Korean restaurant. I have to go myself because otherwise I'll die without Korean food. So I, I have to go alone. But yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right, guys.
Nowadays it's totally fine. But like 5 to 10 years ago, people thought it's very awkward and it's very embarrassing to eat alone outside. But nowadays, we never care about it. I even saw a couple of people eating alone in a samgyeopsal restaurant.
When I was, I don't know what it was actually. Maybe Dead John. I don't remember. But I was walking, finding I wanted some barbecue, and some restaurants turned me down because I was alone. They
Mm.
said no,
Oh,
minimum of 2 or 3 people. And I was like,
Mm.
but I'm gonna pay the full price anyway. What's the difference? I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of interesting for me too, because, like Jason said, 5 years ago, like eating alone was really, I mean, awkward. Like, why? What? Like people look at you and oh, he or she doesn't have any friend or something like that. But nowadays, it's kind of being common, even though we never talk with other people. And
What do
we,
you mean?
I mean, even though we never talk with a stranger. Like for us, the concept of going to and eat together with is with your friend. I mean, with family or with friend, not with a stranger. I mean, even the traveling, even when we are traveling, it's really hard to start communication. After starting, it's more easier to say blah 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 blah. Before starting communication,
Hmm.
it's really hard to get the start. My mother always said that eating is your life.
Eating is your life.
Like you are what you eat, exactly.
Oh yeah,
You
agreed.
are what you eat.
Yes.
So eat healthy, eat good, or eat full, whatever. Eat contently, you know.
And how about that? Are the mothers always asking their children if they have eaten? Is it something in Korea or a sentence, typical sentence like "Have you eaten? Have you eaten?"
밥 먹었니?
It's like "Hello, how are you?"
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
But is it like, but are you meant to really answer that, or is it just a formality?
yeah. We do answer, but yes or no doesn't matter. That's just a way of like beginning the conversation.
Don't expect you to say yes. Today I ate. I don't know,
No,
whatever.
no.
Kimchi-chan. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the same as in English phrase "What's up," even though there are nothing up. We say "What's up?" Yeah,
For me, it tells a little bit about the culture, right? Like
yeah,
Minki was
yeah, yeah.
saying that you care that other people are healthy, they're eating correctly, they're eating properly, and that's pretty. It's good. I like it.
I'm really glad that we can talk about this. I mean, food culture like banchan is, which is I always say to other foreign people that banchan is only Korean thing. Yeah, it's like common main rice and sharing banchan with the side dishes. This is kind of crazy culture that I cannot look to other countries. So when I went to Spain, it was really nice to see tapas, pinchos. Like everyone can share. I want to say the food sharing, but I really like the culture between panchan and tapas, and I really need to go to eat pincho. tapas one day.
Yes, come to
Originally in
Spain.
Spain. Yeah.
But you should do like a tour, right? You should go from north to south, and you would see the difference in like in portions and in like styles and.
Tortilla de patata, salchicha.
I mean, isn't it the same? And when you come here, you come for eating, and when I go to Korea, I go for eating as well. So it's all about food, man. It's all about food.
Life is food. I think so. In my opinion, yeah.
Jisang, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It was so nice to get another opinion, because otherwise I have to always trust Minky and his word, but now I have double confirmation on what he says. So
Yeah.
that's
You cannot trust 100% the rural guy. So here's the suburb guy.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
I'm very happy to have you both here, and then I enjoyed it a lot. Hopefully we can catch up next time.
I love the name Korean tapas.
That's it. We're done. Episode 1 is done. We're still learning how to do this. We're still trying our best, and hopefully we will improve from here. One of many episodes to come. More guests and more interesting conversations between Minky and I. Thank you so much for listening. You can find all the episodes in our website, koreantapas.show, or on any of the podcast platforms, websites, applications you might have, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anything. Thank you again, and see you next time.